Yes, sir.
Hey, can I not speak English because I'm not happy, man. I wanted just to comment about Panyaza. I'm from Tembisa. The Premier, he failed us in Tembisa. Everyone whom I say, the guys that Panyaza,
You are cutting now. I don't know if Tabo, your line seems a bit terrible. Do you want to try again?
Yes, I'm saying, you want good one?
Yes, now we can hear you, but you keep disappearing. Yeah, go on.
Yes, I'm saying Panyaza. Those are the worst hires I've ever seen more in Tembisa. We've never been so disappointed, but we are not happy. He hired Batu Nandisira to be, I'm not sure if they are police or security guards or they are both, but Kibatu Nandisira, and they are very old guys who, by ANC. So I'm not sure, once he gets there, can you ask him, what's the hiring process for Batwababona, and why is it only the ANC, but why ANC who are hired?
We'll do so. Thank you so much, Tabo.
Thanks.
Mkhatla Cheap in Joburg Central. Welcome to Power Talk.
Hey, Dr. Ndlozi.
It's video the guy.
How are you now? Yeah, Dr. Lamano. So I've got what we call here. I hear South Africans saying they cannot allow Africans to take over their country. And we're not that time, we are the ones renting out our properties to them. And at times colluding with them to hijack some of these unoccupied buildings. So, question why are we not showing the same energy we are showing to our African brothers and sisters, to people who came here when enslaving us, raped us, and killed our people? So this is my question, why are we not showing the same energy? Our African brothers, they never came here and load us into trucks in areas where we stay. So why does it stop there on African and not also apply to those of European descent? The so-called black foreigners never came in our areas, destroying our structures, stole our livestock. So this type of thinking by our people is pure witchcraft. Now I mean it for road claimer, the hijacked buildings. But it shouldn't stop there. It shouldn't stop there. What are we saying about the stolen land? Or to this day, we still stay over Alexander, sardines in congested areas. But you have people who own hectares of land. What are we saying about them?
Okay. Tobe.
Okay.
Lastly, let's go to LA in Pretoria. Welcome to Power Talk.
Good day, Dr. Ndlozi. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm well, man, Dr. Ndlozi. I was listening. Somebody just mentioned the issue of Uber. E-hailing earlier on. Saying as much as Lewin generally the Premier, and I have the same concern to say this international company with the 40 or 35% that they are taking from e-hailing driver. And what is it that we are getting back as South African citizens from these percentages? And majority of people who are using Uber are students moving from point A to point B. Or if our government to do away with the
Hello, LA. Seems to have disappeared. We'll try and reconnect with him. If you've just joined us, this is Power Talk with me, Mbuyiseni Ndlozi, Bantwana Benkosi. We are taking your calls on 0861987000 and voice notes as well on 0833037093. Remember, from 1000 hours, the Premier of Gauteng, Dr Panyaza Lesufi, joins us here in studio. You must tune in indeed for that. You can also listen through to that conversation on YouTube, the Power 987 official YouTube account will be live streaming the conversation with Dr Lesufi. Let's take your voice notes.
Good morning, Power FM. Good morning, Power Talk. Dr Ndlozi, Utato is talking nonsense. Kamahoshi. Ukhuluma nonsense ngamakhosi. Amakhosi ayasiza ku community. Amakhosi ayasebenza avikela ukubulawa kwabantu, ukurejwa, idevelop angathe endaweni yangakibo. If amakhosi angasebenzi atlobulelo magoshi athushe ka zilo a esikolong a nyako thusha a esikolong a bale dibuka a tlokolo ithusha yena. Amakhosi, they developing their community. Where is the chief is there's no crime like education. Tate must not come here and talk nonsense about our tribal officers ni. Sima cultural tina, sima tribalism tina. We are respect amakhosi. Tate must not talk nonsense.
Dokotela, unlike Thato o a reng ena ga golela ko magosing ebile ga nne ko magosing, nna ke belegetse ko ebile ka golela ko lefatsheng la ga Mmakau, but ke dumelana le ntho e Thato a e bolelang. Ga gona sepe se le reng kgosi ya ko Mmakau e re rela sone, le go ka ya Mmakau wa botsa batho re ne kgosi ke ma re ikgopolela fela kgosi ya rena ya kgale baza motsepe. After baza motsepe gore kgosi ke bo mang ba irang a na re itse next. Zikho Smith from Macau.
Power FM. Dr Ndlozi, can Panyaza talk about these water tanks mafias? Because they are vandalizing the infrastructure in order them to be used. And some of their tankers are not even clean. Especially Ko Soshanguve KK, the KK. It's where I'm staying now.
Dr Ndlozi, good morning. The woman boys in Pretoria. Broaga, Premier. I would just like to know what is the plan ka CDB Mfuleni. What's the plan? There's a huge problem with that place. That area it needs serious assistance. It's entire sewage, potholes, roads, alles. That's all I would like to know. What's the plan? A Premier ka CDB Mfuleni. Thank you.
Hi, Dr. Ndlozi. I hope you're doing well, my brother. Dr. Ndlozi, I want you to assist me in asking a question go Premier Gauteng ukuthi is it sustainable lento ukuthi emalokishini manje itrata isasebenzi zivale ngama-ball gate zivale ngama-rocks to prevent these criminals ukuthi mazobamba inkunzi zibukwazi ukubaleka lula, and I think you should know
Where's the clock? Is this clock? Oh. Welcome back, Bantwana Benkosi. I want to also welcome the viewers on YouTube. This is Power Talk with me, Mbuyiseni Ndlozi, and we are joined by Dr Lesufi, the Premier of Gauteng. Do you know? Okay, well, welcome. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you so much, and thanks for the invite. I know you've been pushing hard to get me here.
Since TM's birthday.
Yes.
You've been promising.
I'm here, and thanks for the invite.
Thank you, I
thanks for the
appreciate
hospitality. It's amazing. Thanks.
Thank you so much. Do you know, in the count since 94, Premier of Gauteng?
7.
Is that how long we've had?
Yeah, it's 7. I think I'm one of the only province that has never had disruptions in terms of premiership. Majority of the premiers have served their terms and concluded it. I think Tokyo left early, as well as
to try and be a billionaire.
Yes, Comrade David as well. But I'm the 7th premier in the province. It's an honor, I must be honest. It's a I can't exchange it for anything. To be the face of a province, not an easy task.
You think you are the? How do you rate in the 7?
It's still early because
is it a fair question to ask you?
No, it's not me. It's not about me. It's those that have placed us in these responsibilities that must evaluate us whether we are on the right track or not. But contrary to popular belief, I'm only starting my term now, so I'm hardly a year in office. Because I was completing David's term. So it's only now that we are putting our ideas, our economic strategies.
Since 2022.
Since 2024.
2024.
After the elections.
Yes, that's very, very recent. But you've been the premier since 2022.
Yes. I've been the premier.
Right after
COVID.
Yes.
Immediately after COVID.
Are you going to be available for chairpersonship of Gauteng? When are you going to conference?
We're going to conference on the 15th and 17th of May. Yeah. So it's 2 months away.
What happens, when the ANC is in its weakest position nationally, but it's been very difficult for Gauteng since 2016. Some could say since 2019, but what is the what do you guys do? Don't you do a timeout and say we cannot do this thing of leadership the usual way? There's a big organizational crisis. Are you still doing things normal towards the 17th of May?
Check, Doc. Democracy is a fix of challenges. You can't subtract democratic principles or processes of an organization because we're going through difficulties. What it means that if you've got a dictator, you can postpone democracy and allow somebody to mess up an organization or mess up the government and mess up things purely because you are trying to manage dynamics. Democracy is a good fixer. So if we have to renew ourselves, refresh our ideas, develop a new roadmap, we have to, regardless of the general environment. Actually, I look forward to conferences. Besides the issue of elections, all policy formulation that we have, even to have Power FM, it was a conference resolution of the ruling party. To have gender parity, to have all legislation that we have. It's conference resolutions that have really allowed the ANC to put policy positions and deposit them in the public space from trade and industry. I don't think there is a country that has introduced so many laws after 1994 on literally every sector. You go to agriculture, there is a law. You go to motor racing, there is a law. You go to betting, there is a law. You go planting tomato, there's a tomato association. So we've been, so it's very important therefore that these conferences assist us to develop some new policy. Can we? Let me give you an example. We have a situation where you get a bond from a bank. they take the bond payment. They own the house. You are just staying there until you're finished paying. But they take the bond payments. The most difficult one to collect, rates and taxes, they then leave it with you. And the municipalities can't collect on the basis that you've got pressures of children at school, you've got DSTV, you've got all these things. And then the local municipalities are collapsing purely because the development and the post-1994 development have not yielded the required revenue, but it has increased the demand of new roads, new traffic lights, new all things. But is coupled with the high level of unemployment, the state is literally limping. So we are making a proposal. So these houses, bonded houses, belong to the banks. They don't belong to you.
Residents.
Well, they are collecting it anyway, so let it be part of the broader collection if they have to. But banks will not close the road or do and have tires if we have. That's one that we want to take to serious for conference consideration. To say the bank, this house belongs to you, pay everything and collect from where. Because you have better system of collection rather than the state, because the state does not have
particularly on bonded. But I'm going to come to to the premier, to the governor. But what about this conference? Will yield a different outcome for the problems facing the organization ANC? In 2019, and local government as well, where you recover your municipalities, the metros, back into the fold. I'm sure this is what you would require.
If we apply our mind and if we need an end product that will take the ANC to the next level. And the first one is trust deficit. You can't join the ANC because you've got your own reservations about the ANC. So if you can't fix that,
I feel like they might kill me in the morning.
Can you see? Political party that have not mastered the art of collective messaging. I'll give you an example. Somebody who's unemployed says to us, I'm not going to vote for you because you've not given my child a university acceptance letter. Somebody whose child have received a university acceptance letter says, I'm not going to vote for you. That we have done, but because we are no longer a liberation movement that worked on the collective approach in uplifting society, we have agreed to be relegated to individual interest. And you go to no country across the globe that has done that. Show me an institution that have liberated. Me and you were a product of, it was not NEFSAS, I think. Show me. And the people that benefited out of that, where are they now? They're engineers, they're doctors. But speak about an institution that laid the foundation for them to be where they are. They frown upon that movement. It's not about individuals. Say, we need an education system that will liberate all of them. And we've done that. There are but the problem became, we allowed that, the infrastructure could not cope. But the content still remained the best. Societies don't complain about quality of doctors, lack of beds and other things. But the core mandate of health that we said we'll do to society, we've done that, we've delivered that. It's just the numbers are humongous and we've not then taken to the next level. Thirdly, we said that we'll take to the next level. Thirdly, we said that we'll take people from infrastructure that is not habitable to infrastructure that is habitable. You check the number of it in. We have not packaged our messages. Thirdly, is the ideological aspect. Reality is that the ideological aspect. Reality is that ideological education and changes. The reality is there is no difference. Education and changes. The reality is there is no difference between the EFF, MK Party, ANC, PAC, AZAPO, in the state and EAR, because we believe we can run government alone. Whereas we can broaden the base, and bring new skills. To say collectively, can we do so? And bring new skills. To say collectively, can we do so? We tried it in Gauteng, movements that we think can take the country forward. So the ideological perspective, repositioning, strengthening, and packaging, I don't think that. And the last one, obviously, is resourcing. A reality, if buses can't run because government have run off budget, or children can't go through a river because there's no money, the state have allowed itself to play rich when it's poor, privatize everything, tenderize everything. You don't build the capacity of the state, everything, even to fix a fence at the capacity of the state, so that that revenue base is entrenched. So if you go to a conference as Gauteng, which is the economic hub of the country, these four crucial issues, obviously coupled with economic position and employment, you can. But if you want to relegate it, who's the next leader of the ANC in Gauteng, some of us are not interested in that.
Let me push it a bit. This is a crucial question, because your conference, National General Council's documentations are talking about adapt or die.
Yes.
That this is the era in which either the ANC dies or renews. That part of what the ANC has embraced within its ranks is a caste of Komtsotzis in the provincial executive committee, in the regional executive committees. And that part of what has won the day over the last few decades, maybe 15, 20 years, is the ANC being overtaken by people whose business model, they are business people. Seat of power in the ANC and take care of their private interests. So in procurement departments, in departments that must issue out tenders into the leadership, that must benefit first, be paid first, but that don't deliver. So all of this that you are speaking about is actually weakened by the fact that you have embraced the counter-revolution in the form of a Komtsotsi. I'm using that term. You know that term very well.
Very well.
On the one hand. I want you to... Interesting section in your NGC base document where there is a comparison with Vietnam and China. How they've transformed. I mean, in Vietnam, there was an expulsion of over 2,000 comrades in a single year, caught with corruption. And that restored this reputation you're speaking about, credibility and the people's trust in the organization. What are you going to do? Because all those things I can tell you for free. I mean, tell us if you do. The big agenda item is that constant giving to the ANC, the public purse, is about your personal lives and lifestyles.
Resourcing. Maybe I didn't go to the granular point of it to include corruption, vandalism, hiring of people who are looking for jobs. But the resourcing element, we need to unpack it. And as a country, I feel that what is unfolding at Madlanga Commission, one institution called SAPS. I can tell you, if I close my eyes and do that in education, similar. If I close my eyes and do it in health, similar. If I close my eyes and do it in roads and transport, similar. So it's the resourcing capability. But there's now a new trend in government trying to get to, where new administrators, fresh from university, professionals that want to protect their integrity, they are reversing transformation. If they have to adjudicate administrators that are coming in now, they look at the surname or the name of the company. Is Van Niekerk, they give it to Van Niekerk. Because if they give to Ndlozi, there will be a parliamentary question. There will be daily maverick. There will be an investigation. There will be an AG. There will be. But if you give it to Van Niekerk, peace of mind. And you give it to Ndlozi, even the friends that are close to you, they say, or all other things. So the resourcing component, as this movement, to say there's now a radical reversal of the transformation agenda that you committed to empower people, because everyone who sees empowerment doesn't see. Anyone that sees that you are giving say, this guy, who's called this guy, there's so many cars that I've lost count of it, is my soul or somebody. You give them the politically connected people.
But some of these suspicions are
founded. No, founded.
True. There is a reality, Comrade Premier,
yes,
about
agree.
corruption,
yes,
which is undermining service delivery. Yeah. I mean, this is a reality.
It's costly. Ask me. Corruption is costly.
But what is the movement saying? This radical program to say time out, root this tendency in the manner you are putting it in the base document, where you say this year, I mean, I'm imagining you've got a committee there called Integrity Committee. Maybe you give it the powers of the Madlang. It's about balance of probabilities. You just get rid of the chaps who are in your ranks for personal business profit.
And I'm glad you have quoted the base document, because the base document says what we have now, we must take it to the next level. We introduced the step aside. Did it assist? It didn't. We introduced it didn't. I mean, if you check what happened at Tembisa Hospital, the corruption that happened there, it might not be levers of leadership, but there is a resemblance of people that are associated that we need to tackle with. So I agree with you fully, and that is why I'm saying the resourcing of the state, I'm of the strong view, and I might be wrong, that building the capacity by profit or greed or other thing can take, there are things that you can still leave it to the private sector, but the state must run the state. 5 quick things. There's no reason for us to have medical aid. The cost of living, it's too high in our country, purely because what needs to be provided by the state is not provided by the state. We've commercialized public good. The reason we have me and you have medical aid is you fix it. We will not have the corruption that we have there. Let's go to education. All of us want to take our children to private education system because the public good, that is education, is not in a good state. All of us have what? Alarms, security guards, because the public good, which is the law enforcement, it's not there. All of us are driving what? Individual cars, because public all of us have inverters and all these things because the public good, electricity, it's not there. So if you strengthen the capacity of the state to deliver these services, I'm of the strong view that we'll have not subjected our people to this high cost of living and the corruption that we are confronted.
I do want to take the headlines. I normally also think radio has to adapt to current conditions of digital communication. Let's take the headlines. If you've just joined us, this is Power Talk. We are with the Premier of Gauteng, Lesufi. Letabo Mashapa is going to give us the headlines. Stay tuned.
Thanks, Mbuyiseni. In your headlines, Parliament's ad hoc committee probing claims of police interference is racing against time to conclude witness testimonies with its deadline fast approaching. The committee's term is set to end this month, and MPs say they cannot finalize their work without hearing from key witnesses, with the State of the Nation address scheduled for February 12th and the budget speech for February 25th. The committee has limited time to complete its work. Its original deadline was the end of October 2025, later extended to November 2025 and then further to February 20th this year. Now, speaking in Parliament yesterday, committee chairperson Soviet Lakhanyani had this to say.
The work of the committee, so that if there are suggestions that we must make to the office of the Speaker, those must be practical suggestions that we should be able to make. We were still in engagements with Mr. Brown Mokhozi and Mr. Paul O'Sullivan within the framework of the directives that the committee has given.
MK Party President Jacob Zuma says unresolved disputes arising from the May 2024 elections are casting a shadow over the credibility of future polls as the party prepares for the upcoming local government elections. 2 years ago, the MK Party filed a legal challenge in the Electoral Court disputing the outcome of the May elections and seeking to have the results set aside. The party claims the integrity of the vote was compromised by alleged fraud and the 2-hour system black, an opportunity for manipulation. In addition, the MK Party has laid criminal charges against IEC area manager Musawenkosi Mnikati, who was allegedly found transporting ballot boxes without a police escort in Pietermaritzburg during the elections. However, Mnikati was later acquitted of all charges. Zuma says the slow pace in addressing these concerns suggests a lack of political will, undermining confidence in future electoral processes.
Sesiyamanje okhethweni lwesibili kodwa into esasikhale ngazo kulolo kuqala namanje ayikenziwa lutho. Iyakutshena ke leyo nto ukuthi kulelizwe izinto zenziwa ngendlela engenabuqiniso nendlela yokwenzelela nendlela yokuthatha izinto ezenziwe ngabanye abantu zisiwe kwabanye abantu. Akekho thi naku sesifika kolunye ukhetho kwenze njani kulolo dlule lapho khona sathi izinto azenzekanga kahle. Uma sihleli ke sicabanga ukuthi bazi kahle ukuthi makuyiwe enkantolo ngeke bayiwini.
And Nigeria's President Bola Tinubu has sent an army battalion to the country's Kwara state after gunmen killed at least 200 people in that area this week. The attackers burned shops and the traditional ruler's palace, forcing residents to flee into nearby bushes. A full bulletin at the top of the hour.
Power traffic.
A very good morning to you. Let's towards joining the N12 highway due to roadworks that are happening in that area. If you're on the N17 eastbound, there's some queuing traffic as you're passing the Rand Airport interchange. Those delays clear just after you pass the Gosforth Plaza due to those roadworks that are happening in that section just after the Wits Rifles Bridge. If you're on the N3 north, there's some slow-moving traffic going through Gululis, joining the N12 eastbound. The M1 north is still experiencing a lot of pressure this morning. Those delays start in Houghton Estate as you're passing Glenhove, heading towards the Greyston Drive exit. And remember, if you come across any further traffic incidents, tweet at Power987 Traffic. For Power Traffic, I'm Lebohang Pukela.
Power traffic. Power breakfast with TT.
Diva and Mr. V. Mayajola or Apacholi? The chairperson of the commission there, Justice Madlang, insisting they're like, but there's no evidence here that there was a romantic relationship. One claim a cat. I was just saying, you would think that a cop who's risen to the rank of brigadier would know how people get caught out in a lie.
Yeah.
Guys, it's hard to sustain a lie.
You can't do it. You can't do it, especially if you're going to be answering to that lie for a couple of hours.
Exactly.
With big lawyers. Because these are people that have been dealing with lies.
A judge and 2 senior counselors. These are people who deal with liars.
Good luck.
Honestly, don't play yourself.
Power breakfast. Weekdays 6 to 9 a.m. on Power 98.7. Unanticipated and unpredictable. News just happens. And when it does, trust us to be there and to bring it to you.
The National Police Commissioner Fanny Masemola denies starving illegal mine workers at
Power News, covering your news 24/7 around the clock. Venezuela's acting president, Delcy Rodriguez, has announced a proposed general amnesty that could free hundreds of political prisoners. Stay informed, and for more up-to-date news, follow us on X at Power987 News.
Gauteng municipalities are struggling to implement credit control policies, resulting in poor debt collection.
Power987.
Yeah, more radio Barabuja. Shut up. But they don't take
Power Talk with
seniority serious.
Mbuyiseni Ndlozi, where your voice is heard and opinion matters.
Welcome back, Bantwana Benkosi. We are still with Panyaza Lesufi, the Premier of Gauteng. And if you've just joined us, this is Power Talk with me, Mbuyiseni Ndlozi, here on Power 987. Premier, I want to do two things, and then we can go to Gauteng government issues.
Yep.
Just to wrap up the conversation about the African National Congress. You made a statement I quite didn't understand, that of the parties that you mentioned that belong to the liberation tradition. There's a reason why you didn't include, for instance, IFP.
Yeah.
Because you don't consider it to be part
It has never
of
been a
that
liberation
tradition.
movement, yes.
Okay. You see, I'm not sure why you would include Umkhonto weSizwe there.
Membership.
Party. Because ideologically, Umkhonto weSizwe Party is looking for parliamentary supremacy. That's not in keeping with the traditions of the liberation. Umkhonto weSizwe Party has also aligned itself with forces in the African continent, in Morocco, that are opposed to a basic principle of self-determination, which is actually the principle that brings the ANC into being. In this case, the self-determination of the people of Western Sahara. I wonder if you are worried because some of the evidence which they are denying is that they are training soldiers in the Donbass through the Wagner group. For what, I don't know. But some of the elders in the party have said this is representing a counter-revolution. The last time a term of this nature was used in relation to somebody that was a former ANC leader was Mangosuthu Buthelezi. I do want to understand in what way, taking these three aspects into consideration,
is to save it.
Is MKP
to
part
MK.
of the liberation tradition?
It's to save MK from its. You can't deny that MK, lack of better word, is a faction of the ANC. They moved out of the African National Congress, so they can't overnight be denied that, or we deny that there are members of MK that played a role during the liberation movement. We can't. But MK as an entity needs a lot of unpacking. But who do they represent? They represent the constituency that we want to service ourselves. What is it that, outside many other things, that they want to see is the economic empowerment of our people and the total liberation of our people. But the form and character of that institution need all of us who are ideologically clear to unpack so that we assist them to come back where they need to come back within the liberation movements, and then have a formation that can clear the path for the total emancipation of our people. I believe in that. I really believe the days of one individual organization leading on its own, those days are nearing their end.
Extinction.
But to go to the next stage, you need to be ideologically clear who do you want to bring on board. I will not bring the Democratic Alliance over my dead body. I will not bring Freedom Front over my dead body, and other reactionary parties that are starting to develop. Action SA and other who really believe that the markets are the only solution to the challenge that we have. We still need the presence of the state and the capacity of the state and the skills of the state to protect the weak and the vulnerable. So within that framing, there are many other post-1994 formations, for example, Abahlali basemjondolo, who are mobilizing people within the informal settlement, but who are doing other things that may not be correct. So they might be not liberation movements, but they've got a voice, a constituency that we really believe we can bring it to the center and all of us
That's
then
proper broad churches.
Yes. And all of us then enter that ideological refinement to say from now on going forward, which ideological path can we push, and institutions and movements, organizations that can be part of that.
Okay.
So I support that. I really, and I've seen it within the discussion document within your former political party that you belonged to, and I've seen the discussion debates that are there in other organizations. But I think the ANC, the party has just called the Conference of the Left, where they are mobilizing it. I think it's going to take place in the next 2 months. So that those kind of thinking, but I really believe that the movement that I belonged to have not entered that debate very strong and presented alternatives way of strengthening that approach.
Before I go to the jobs in Gauteng, are you available for the chairperson position in Gauteng ANC?
I've left that to the branches of the African National Congress.
When they do say you must come, will you?
Who I am to refuse.
You are Panyaza. All right, jobs. Your attempt to create jobs in the last 2-3 years in Gauteng has resulted into, I don't know if you will be able to agree with the numbers. It's been a very poor performance, both in public and in the private sector. But I've got figures that in its high days, between 2005, 2006, they are called the golden age of the ANC government. In that period only, 2005, 2006, 2002 to 2006, the ANC in Gauteng created approximately more than 400,000 jobs in that period alone. It would constitute 25% in the same period of the national net jobs that were created. And we are talking about 2022, 2025, 125,000 jobs. And Gauteng used to grow at 6% GDP rate in those days. You know now you are at 1, sometimes 0.8%. This is amidst Panyaza, the Uber. What is the criteria in jobs? If you agree that this has been technically a poor performance, I've chosen those years because it's the years when you were the premier. There's been a very bad performance in the creation of new jobs. If you agree, can you tell us what is the problem?
Well, there are many other things that we're supposed to fix that we are struggling. One is local government. For factories to be established, there must be water. So if you can't provide water in Midrand at this time and era, it's a characterization of local government that is, because they have to provide land, bulk services, and have been doing bad because municipalities have not met the demand. There are many companies or even private developers that we want to build this mall or we want to build, but local government can provide the resources or the infrastructure that is needed. So we've been trying to pull DBSA to provide that kind of support, because without local government capabilities to do, identify land, provide bulk services, ensure these bulk services are offered, companies can't. Actually, you missed one critical statistic there of companies that are leaving our province to other provinces. And some of the things that you can't. But secondly,
so you've got a problem of a local state.
That is what I'm saying. In our conference now, we have to say what new revenue base we need to have for local government, because without that revenue base, we are not going to fix or create.
Let's take one or two municipalities. I'll take a municipality and a metro, and you give us a sense of, because I'll choose the ones where the ANC is in charge. Mfuleni. Mfuleni has been in paralysis long before it became a coalition. But in general, it hasn't shifted hands. It's been in the hands of the ANC since 1994, 2001, since its establishment, so to speak. Mfuleni, the Val. In essence, you can't say that the problem of Mfuleni is a revenue base.
It is.
But the provision of services have been fundamentally crippled by either incompetence, corruption, sabotage, and at worst, capital flight, as you put it.
Dr. Ndlozi, somebody who's unemployed in this country, what do? Do you deny them electricity because they're unemployed? Do you deny them water? You don't collect their refuse. And the figures that we've stated, it simply means there's a high increase of people that are unemployed, but they must get access to services. Who renders those services? Midval won't, because they don't have a township. That is why they'll prosper. We have. Go to Mfuleni. You know, it's Everton, it's Sebokeng, it's Sharpeville. Go there now. It is as if it's a weekend. The unemployed youth are outside. And the state must offer those services. We are the only country where, even if you are unemployed, we'll never switch water from you or not give you sewer. And that doesn't come easy. And that is not free. It means some institution need to pay for it. And what happened in Mfuleni? You are big companies. You are Asal Metal, you are, I can quote, all these big companies, they went to Eskom and say, Eskom, we don't trust this municipality to give us electricity. We want to pay you directly. And they put their own meters. Every month they pay Eskom. And Eskom does not bring that money to the municipality, which simply means that the poor must be subsidized by the state and the rich must pay directly to Eskom. We've been fighting with Eskom for that. Water, it's a human right. How do you deny people water because they're not paying? And for years, we've been making that important resource available to our people. Regardless whether they're employed or unemployed or they're paying or not paying, we've made that water available. So it's in our ability to get new revenue sources. And that is why we are arguing very strongly that bonded houses must pay through the banks and the banks must collect so that we have more alternative revenue base. Let me go to the third one, which is now devastating. All the malls in that municipality, check all of them, Val Mall, and check on top of their roofs. It's no longer electricity that comes from the municipality. They're generating their own. Do we get the revenue as government from that generation? No. And this was the huge source of revenue for that municipality. So I'm not blaming them. I'm just saying even ourselves, we've run out of ideas to salvage that municipality. I mean, you go to that municipality, the infrastructure is aging. The water pipes are old. Sewers flowing freely. But it's also leadership. Sorry, it's also leadership. I don't think we've provided leadership as well. And that is why you'll see in the next...
What does that constitute? What does providing leadership mean, and why haven't...
The problems of the ANC find itself in government. So even if the best person, if he loses conference of the ANC, we'll remove him to bring the faction that has won. Whether that person is capable, have the skills, the qualification, the know-how, we don't care. It's our faction that have won. So that's the leadership that I'm talking about. It's our faction that has won, because our faction has won. Even if we don't have capacity, we've just managed to convince branches to vote for us. We will then remove the best and replace them with those that are not capable to do so. So it's leadership that we need to. But also, we're not taking care of our industrial development. I always argue with the leadership of Mfuleni that Sasolburg might be in Free State, but it can grow towards us. Harry Smith, to me, it's the new logistic hub that we can develop. Because Harry Smith is 300 meters away from Durban, 300 kilometers away from Durban, 300 kilometers from Johannesburg, 300 kilometers from Bloemfontein, 300 kilometers from Mpumalanga. So it can be a new logistic hub that can be utilized to then ensure that Mfuleni or the Val benefit out of that. But the Val is the river city for us. I mean, yesterday We unveiled a 2 billion investment by Henneken. They are there because they want water. And Africa needs water. So we can repackage that water and be a new market that can assist us to do. So we just need to redefine Mfuleni in a new manner that can assist us. And it's a huge tourist attraction. I mean, you grew up there, you know many things that the Val has provided. But your characterization is correct. My only view is that South Africans sometimes forget that this state has to carry the weak and the vulnerable. We have to carry the elderly.
We are back to this problem then of breaking ground for the creation of new jobs. I'll pose it as an all-encompassing question. I wanted to bring in a metro, but I see the logic. The logic is the same because you're going to say Soweto and Deep Sloot and all of that. What then would you roll out for us as an industrial strategy for the creation of jobs in Gauteng? In fact, firstly, is it there?
Yeah, it is. It is. There are 5 sectors that are growing massively. You check our economic performance, it's the financial sector. Maybe let me give our strategy quickly so that you have a grasp.
You have time.
Yeah, I have time. Oh, yes. Okay. Let me give it to you quickly. We have characterized Gauteng in 5 corridors and said that this is the economic outlook that we need in each and every corridor. Johannesburg, let's let go of mining. It's no longer... The province or the region was established because of mining. It's no longer a thing. So the 5 growing things in Johannesburg is 1, which is big, is the financial sector. So ensure that all banks or financial institutions are based here. We've done that. It's only one bank that is refusing, is in Stellenbosch. You know the name of that bank, but majority of
it will come. I talked to them. Capitec.
Yes,
it will come.
Yes. But all the financial institutions are here, you know. Secondly, is the ICT world.
Can we, if I can.
Yeah.
What about jobs that are new is the financial sector's growth going to answer?
It's investment. If you have money, you can invest anyway, because these are financial institutions that can unlock investment. So if they're here, we want to expand Gauteng, for example. Who will fund it? It needs money, and they will expand it and create jobs. We need a speed train. You need money. It's the financial sector that will have. That the financial sector plays.
Okay.
Then the second one that we have said, this region of Johannesburg needs to work on is the telecommunications. And we've succeeded. Your Vodacom is there. Your Microsoft is there. Your MTN is there. Your Cell C is there. All your major telecoms companies are here. The third is pharmaceutical. Massive sector, because medication is the way we live nowadays. That the pharmaceutical companies that we want must be here. Then it's ICT. You are Huawei, you are many. They're here to say Johannesburg, you are going to be the new world of AI, artificial intelligence, ensure that institutions that are playing in that particular space find themselves. And what you call commercial transport. You are Uber, you are Bolt, you are all institutions that will make it possible to. So that's the financial model or economic model that we have for Gauteng. Then we want to Ekurhuleni to say we're taking advantage of the airport. So we're having what you call aerotropolis, grow around the airport to create an economy that can assist us. You'll see now we are putting up a huge cargo airport there, a terminal. Cargo is big. It has these positives and negatives, because you've got finished product landing rather than products being there. But because people are going on Temu, you know, all those the people that are doing. So cargo is big, but it's public transport and it's the manufacturing hub of the province. The new train is being manufactured here in Ekurhuleni. The passenger buses are manufactured there. So then Ekurhuleni become the manufacturing, but it's also taking advantage. So then we go to Tshwane. Tshwane, we then characterized it as public institutions, public administration, because it's the administrative head of the state. Research capabilities, because of the many universities that we have into that particular area. The automotive industry, we've attracted now, Nissan is leaving, Chery is coming in, we've got Ford there, we've got BMW there. We've got many companies, so we're putting the auto motive industry together. Then West Rand, it's our, what you call the remaining part of mining, and the second part is agriculture. The country needs food, we need to have food security, and then, but we are saying let's bring an element of tourism there as well, so that before they go to Sun City, they must leave their dollars around all the areas that they're available there. So that's how we've structured Gauteng.
So in this breakdown you have given,
yeah,
what is the anticipation for the creation of new jobs? The numbers now.
We've created all this, and then we have resourced them in terms of policy, infrastructure, skills that are needed. For example, in schools, in Tshwane, we've got schools of engineering in automotives, which simply means that learners in that school, and it's the best school, got 100% matric pass. Learners there, when they're still in the classroom, they are skilled on how to do BMW, how to do Ford, how to do all those particular things. So skills becomes the key investment of government. And if you've got skills, that is why we've got South Korea. They don't have precious stones like we have. They've got skills. So we believe that if the state plays its role, then in the ultimate end, those skills will be absorbed in these markets that we've created and have Gauteng better position to compete.
But how many jobs? It's a strategy.
600,000.
You must be able to say, I'm going to create this number of jobs by this time.
By 2030, we said we should, because this is a strategy 2030. We thought that we'll be reaching 600,000 jobs by that time. We're hovering around. I mean, we still remain the key province that create jobs. The last quarter was putting us around 140,000. So we are still behind. That is embarrassing, actually, to be quite frank with you, that we must acknowledge. That is why I really believe, in some instances, we need to leave those that we have entrusted to create these opportunities, and the state must play a meaningful role and create these opportunities. There are 4 projects that we really believe we can unleash opportunities. The speed train to Musina, the speed train to KZN, and the new Transnet line between, rail is the future for us. We are bringing the element of rail, because rail can absorb as many jobs as possible. So there's a new rail between Tshwane and Gqeberha that Transnet is putting up. We've just partnered with Transnet Pipeline, so the movement of energy from eThekwini to the reef to Gauteng. We are now bringing a gas as a new energy mix that can create jobs as well. So we are playing in that space to push the numbers. So by the time we leave, by 2030, even though the target is 600,000, if we can be around 500,000 or between 450,000, I think we'd have tried. Let me just quickly come with the easy ones, which is your
we are at the top of the hour. We have the last 30 minutes together.
Say 15 minutes.
Yeah, well, I mean, I won't be able to talk to you again, possibly. Hopefully they don't factionally take you out in May. But I do think that it's important to complete this this section of your jobs canvas. Yeah, thank you so much. Let's take the news, Bantwana Benkosi. Here we are on radio, so the news. Thank you.
Power News.
Thanks, Mbuyiseni. Your top stories at the Sawa. Gauteng Premier Panyaza Lesufi says service delivery remains the top priority for his government, and the Madlanga Commission postpones the testimony of Northwest businessman Suleiman Karim. Good morning to you once again. I'm Lethambo Mashaba. Gauteng Premier Panyaza Lesufi says service delivery remains a top priority for his government. Lesufi was on the Power Talk this morning, and he says reversing the trust deficit from the electorate is of paramount importance.
This many things that we have done, but because we are no longer a liberation movement that worked on the collective approach in uplifting society, we have agreed to be relegated to individual interest. And you go to individual interest will not satisfy society. But if you have a political mandate and a service delivery commitment that is understood by rank and file and ordinary South Africans, they will. I mean, show me a country that they have given people 5 million houses. Edogo, RDP houses.
Free houses.
Free. No country across the globe that has done that.
The Premier adds that strengthening the capacity of the state is needed as he bemoans the state's reliance on the private sector for basic services.
Building the capacity of the state to do these things on its own as a state, rather than be motivated by profit or greed or other things, there are things that you can still leave it to the private sector. But the state must run the state. I mean, I'll give you 5 quick things. There's no reason for us to have medical aid. The cost of living, it's too high in our country, purely because what needs to be provided by the state is not provided by the state. We've commercialized public good.
On to the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry now. The Commission has postponed the testimony of Northwest businessman and ANC member Suleiman Karim to March 9th and 10th. Karim's lawyers argued their client had inadequate time to prepare for his testimony. The businessman was scheduled to appear today after he lost his court bid to stop a subpoena by the Commission. Karim was subpoenaed to appear after being implicated by KwaZulu-Natal Police Commissioner Dr Mbuyiseni Ndlozi and Witness X, accusing him of pocketing cash in exchange for sensitive police information, as well as being in cahoots with alleged criminal mastermind Vusiket Madlala. Now, following a brief hearing at the Commission this morning, Justice Mbuyiseni Ndlozi made this ruling.
The matter is postponed to the 9th and 10th of March 2026. Mr. Karim is ordered to be in attendance and to give testimony on those 2 days and beyond if need be, and to remain in attendance until excused by the Commission. Mr. Karim is also ordered to furnish a statement not later than 27 February 2026. The evidence leaders are ordered to furnish any additional documents within 48 hours.
Meanwhile, Parliament's ad hoc committee probing claims of interference within the police service is racing against time to conclude its witness testimonies with its deadline fast approaching. The committee's term is set to conclude this month, and committee members say they cannot finalize their work without hearing from key witnesses. With the State of the Nation address and the budget speech both scheduled for this month, the committee has limited time to complete its work. Its original deadline was the end of October last year, later extended to November, and then further to February 20th, 2026. Now, speaking in Parliament yesterday, Committee Chairperson Soviet Lakhanyani had this to say.
The work of the committee, so that if there are suggestions that we must make to the office of the Speaker, those must be practical suggestions that we should be able to make. We are still in engagements with Mr. Brown Mohozi and Mr. Paul O'Sullivan within the framework of or the directives that the committee has given.
And Nigerian President Bola Tinubu has sent an army battalion to the country's Kwara state after gunmen killed at least 200 people in that region this week. The attackers burnt shops and the traditional ruler's palace, forcing residents to flee their homes. Officials have given conflicting death tolls as searches continue. No group has claimed responsibility, but authorities blame jihadist militants, including Boko Haram. The violence highlights Nigeria's worsening security crisis, with another deadly attack reported in the Katsina state. Here, residents recount the ordeal.
We didn't know the people who raided us. They stormed our house and we heard gunshots. We ran to his shop and they found my son there. He begged them, but the bandits refused. They said they wouldn't spare no man. They killed him. I only saw his body afterward.
The incident occurred unexpectedly. The attackers encountered the villagers. Some were at home, while others were out in the fields. The gunmen followed them. They tied their hands, and then they shot them.
A look at financial indicators. The rand is trading at 16 rand 18 cents to the US dollar, 21 rand 95 cents to the pound sterling, and 19 rand 8 cents to the euro. Gold's trading at $4,860.19 a fine ounce, and Brent crude oil is at $68.41 a barrel. And now recapping the top story in Power News at this hour, Gauteng Premier Panyaza Lesufi says service delivery remains a top priority for his government.
Power News. On FM, online, and DSTV channel 889. This is Power 98.7.
This is Power 98.7. And now you're listening to Power Talk with Mbuyiseni Ndlozi, 9 a.m. to midday, taking your calls on 0861 987 000.
Have time, Bantwana Benkosi, if you've just joined us, we are still with Dr Lesufi, the Premier of Gauteng. I do, Premier, want you to conclude the industrial strategy plan that you're speaking about, and then we can maybe tie out some of the knots that came out from the callers. The Premier has a flight that he's waiting for, and we know he doesn't use a helicopter.
No.
So he has to get on the M1 from here. Please complete the industrial strategy, and I do want two things with immediate effect that are, I think, are an impediment. One are the energy problems of South Africa, because any energy plan that is not also an industrial plan, you're not going to grow anything, because an additional company which is industrial that comes to Gauteng, your grid is going to be in distress. So amongst all these things that you are doing, what are the immediate plans to increase generation?
Well, I'm grateful to Minister Sputla Ramokgopa. I must be honest. He has really saved us as Gauteng millions of rands, because we are ready to enter that space with lots of investment. And when we check the energy availability barometer, for now I think we are good to say for the next 6 to 8 months, don't be load shedding unless something drastically happens. So with that, our energy security is stable. Because at one stage, I remember I had to drive early in the morning to meet the late Pravin Gordhan to say, Minister, Gauteng is the economic hub of the country. The banks are here. Security is here. Everything is here. If energy here collapses,
government
everything collapses. So which are the power stations that are propelling Gauteng? We are prepared as Gauteng to invest in them, either the repairs, maintenance, or building new ones. So we're ready to bring cash, like we did with e-tolls, because roads are very important for us. So we're ready to say, give us the power stations that are servicing Gauteng, and then let's re-engineer them. And as Gauteng, we're willing to do that at the highest level. And the lower level, there are communities without electricity. That is why we went crazy in bringing transformers and other things. I brought one in your area in Everton, and the people that were chasing me because they said they were sent by you to. So at the higher level and the lower level.
There's an area that has not had electricity for 7, 8 years.
Now in Everton. So we're trying to put up that area, including Winterfeld. They never had electricity for quite some time. So that was our energy response plan, where we brought Minister Gwedemantashe, Minister Sputla, all mayors, ourselves to say, what do we do? So we appointed City Power to be our implementing agency for our city. So we have revived all closed power stations that were closed in local government. We have attracted independent power producers. There's one
if I can, not to cut you short, but in your interest of time, how much electricity are you going to add by when, in light of this industrial strategy that you were sort of unpacking, that has a job creation target of 2030?
I was told that 3,000 megawatts will keep us safe as Gauteng, the addition that we need to put.
You need 3,000 additional megawatts.
Yes.
So when will that come into the grid in Gauteng?
No, we've reduced it. Purely because of the energy availability parameter that National has.
I see. So where is it standing, the new power that you need?
Well, in terms of months, for 8 months, I know we're not having problems.
For the next 8 months?
Yeah, for the next 8 months. We can't have problems. And the new power stations that are being deposited, I really believe a year or so we might be as safe as possible. That's why I'm very grateful to So in terms of energy security, we are safe. The only problem that we need to do, and that's what we're doing with it, is to remove illegal connections. Because that makes us to lose a lot of energy. And secondly, is to ensure that those that are underneath where we are now, called Zamazamas, they don't have unnecessary access to our energy, and also that the users use it sparingly as well. That's what we need. That's what we are focusing on now. But in terms of extra energy for Gauteng, Minister Sputler have done well, and I think we are happy with the leadership of ESCOM.
Maybe the final aspect, I do want to come back to the ANC in the last 5 minutes, but the inner city housing bedlock, or housing bedlock vis-a-vis the inner city. Something urgent, radical needs to happen to the Joburg inner city with hijacked buildings on the one hand, but this important problem of collection of rates. If the middle class, it seems to me, was to be settled safely and in quality conditions in the inner city, you agree that it would somehow give a lot of revenue for the government. But is there something of a plan concretely you can tell us now about the inner city?
Yeah, there is. But the mistake we are making, we say, is Johannesburg only.
No, not only Joe. I was limiting because we don't have time. But you can do that. Joburg, Germiston, Tshwane, Spring.
Rodipo. All our CBDs are in a bad state. Captain Park, I mean, we are the only country or province where you have an international airport closer to you, and Captain Park CBD thrives through cash loans or cell phone repairs or taverns. It can't be. So our strategy now is to then revamp, reposition, and reevaluate each and every CBD, starting with Johannesburg, of course. So Johannesburg wanted to be a government precinct. So we're putting up, the inner city.
But tell us first, how are you going to get rid of the people who have hijacked buildings?
We have to
is there a security strategy?
No, we have to change the law. We've presented the law at the unfortunately, the president was chairing that as Gauteng to say, you can't have a situation where somebody hijack a building. For you to remove them, you must give them an alternative land and provide them with free water, free electricity, and other things. It does not work. The intention to invade was wrong, and therefore we need to deal with the consequence of it.
So you have a new law.
We're producing a law as Gauteng. We're introducing it. So we've got 180 buildings that we've identified that have been hijacked that we need to go in, possibly demolish them completely and start afresh. That's the Johannesburg CBD. There's a team that meets every Tuesday to assist us to deal with those aspects. So Johannesburg CBD must compete with other big cities. You are New York, you are all those big cities. So that's our intention for now with Johannesburg. But we're anchoring it on 3 areas. One is state institutions, which is your Transnet, and that wants to be in the CBD. Secondly is our self-government administration. This is our headquarters, this is our head office. Every government department must be here. Thirdly is commercial. There are many commercial institutions that still have an interest to be in the Johannesburg area. And fourthly, it's citizens. We are of the view that if you have citizens, it means that we're going to have housing, we're going to have schools, we're going to have hospitals, because where people are, those kind of public good must be available as well. So that's our model of changing. But it's going to take long, I must be honest, because of these battles. That is why we are taking the option of the law. So that if you have invaded illegally, we will protect the weak and the vulnerable. That is women, people with disability, the elderly, but all other people, they have to find an alternative on their own. Or if we provide an alternative, let it be limited. It's there for 3 months so that people can plan their new lives rather than remove them now and they have nowhere. So that's the kind of new legislation that we are formulating.
Madlanga Commission.
Said commission. I call it a said commission.
At the center of most of the evidence that's coming out is Gauteng. Gauteng Police, Eguruleni, its Metro Department. You were saying earlier, you think that's even a tip of the iceberg.
It is.
Why wait and not constitute your own internal robust extraction of elements that are working with organized crime, particularly in the what they call construction cartels? these chaps really cripple service delivery. And they are embedded not in the police only, but also in the administration. Is there something other than watching the said commission, waiting for its outcomes, that has kicked in your system to say, we are not going to wait. We're going to extract these people. We're going to put systems in place to make sure that we reverse the gains of organized crime.
And that's our approach. The Madlanga Commission serve as a tool for us to intervene decisively where corruption is embedded. But some corruption that is very extremely difficult or is difficult to manage. I mean, if somebody fall in love with somebody that is a criminal, and they say we're in love, do the state have a dictator who must fall in love with you or not? It becomes difficult.
I hope you don't think corruption is love or love
no,
is
no, no,
corruption.
no, 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 I don't. No, 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 I don't. And I don't also buy the defense of the pretty girl that they fell in love. She's caught. She's developing a concoction to justify that she's been caught. That's my own analysis. But I said to you at the beginning of this show that if you close your eyes and do exactly that in education, in health, in transport, in all sectors, you'll come out with the same situation. So our approach in Gauteng is to wait for that report rather than duplicate and start afresh, and then put up the necessary systems that can assist us that we don't find ourselves there. It means our vetting system are very poor. Our approval systems of contract is bad. The maintenance of monitoring of contracts is extremely weak, and that there is a certain cartel that have taken over the contracting obligations of the state. And that cartel has been left to do as they wish. So you get that kind of a report, you intervene. But I'm excited that the president has already intervened. In the interim report, these are the people that need to be charged. Ekuruleni, I know they've removed other people, suspended other people. So let's wait for the final product and utilize it to flush out this unnecessary, unbearable, stinking corruption that has characterized the state.
Okay. My concluding question then is to the ANC. Is Patrice Motsepe rent a leader campaign in the ANC? And will you be supporting in any way someone of his stature to preside in the next conference of the ANC?
Dr. Ndlozi, I thought you appreciate me. I thought you understand me. I thought you value me. I thought you
care for your security.
For my the political party that I'm here and my security. Out of this, you know that if I answer that question,
you won't leave.
I'll be
you won't arrive at the airport.
I'll be expelled because the debate about the leadership of 2027 is still mute in the ANC.
But
so when it's open,
you are in the ANC. We really want to know: is this a fluke? Is this private capital agitating you guys, or there are serious people in Gauteng? Because if he has to come from somewhere, it's from yourselves here in Gauteng. Is the Patrice Motsepe campaign, or the conversation that he can be the leader of the ANC, something that is being taken serious in the ranks of the ANC?
I'm addicted to ideology. Identity of a political party is through its ideological stance. I'm addicted to that. So when we have to determine the leader that must lead the African National Congress, you have to subject that particular leader to that stance that I believe in. So I don't want to start and open a can of worms. So for now, accept that the debate is mute, and at the right time, that the debate is opened, I will join you and I will express my views on these things. Otherwise, by the time I leave here, I can get a WhatsApp call that my suspension is effect because I've entered the terrain that I was not allowed to enter.
Dr. Panyaza Lesufi, thank you so much. Of course, my takeaway here is Motsepe needs to go through a serious ideological test. I don't know if he will pass it, but we'll see.
You said it. I didn't. I didn't say it. You
That's
said
it, Bandana Benkosi. That's the Premier. I do understand that you have to rush. I'm going to apologize to our callers. We will play all their voice notes and see if we can't get or fish out the response at a different stage, because we rejected a 30 minutes call with you earlier in the week for a sit down.
Yes.
I'm sure we'll try get the
But
rest
thanks once more
at
for
a
the
later
hospitality,
stage.
your kindness, the way you conduct your interview. That's why I'm more comfortable to engage with people like you, because you don't have to stress of ulterior motives and other things. So thanks for the opportunity, and thanks to Power FM. So
thank you.
To listeners of Power FM, keep the needle there. You will not get lost.
We have reached the conclusion. Thank you so much. We're going to take a quick ad break, and then we'll come back. Please stay tuned. Thank you, Dr. Lesufi.
Thank you, Manesh. Sure.
Power Lunch with Kwena Marara Mwabelo.
You know, sometimes at work we know people via email. We've never met, we've never hung out. So those functions get you to know those people.
So 20 minutes, Nyana, and then you upsquatulate.
Yeah.
Yeah. D, write it down. Upsquatulate. I told you I'm going to teach you English. Upsquatulate, it means to live without nobody being aware. That's what it means.
Okay. I also learned something.
Well, there you go. Yeah. When you upsquatulate, it's, you know, like how D ukai.
Yeah.
Since how Laili Mood, career strategist Zanele Smelene.
Power Lunch, weekdays 12 to 3 p.m. on Power 98.7. From the change rooms to the final whistle, every goal, try, wicket, stroke, checkered flag, and blows, we've got you covered. That's why he's one of the best in the world. Join us all season long as we bring you in-depth reports with our trusted and dedicated sports anchors.
In your sport, a career best score for Proteas opener Quinton de Kock.
And Sundowns coach Miguel Cardoso believes that their packed schedule might have had a negative impact to the team's performance. Spaniard Carlos Alcaraz made history when he beat the experienced Novak Djokovic.
Power 987. Now we're talking.
We can't make you a morning person.
Good morning to you, Power family. Good morning.
But we can surely make your weekend mornings. Everything you need to make your weekend mornings better.
How are you this morning? I hope you're doing well. I hope you had a fabulous week.
Power Weekend Breakfast with Siraj Maahi. A little bit of this, that, and everything you need to start your weekend.
It's also important to differentiate between a need and a want, a luxury
But
and
what if I need what I want?
Saturdays 6 to 10 a.m. and Sundays 6 to 9 a.m. on Power 98.7.
We are members of the Weekend Breakfast Church, hence we don't go to other churches.
Now we're talking.
Send us your voice notes on 083-303-7777.